The days after I ended things with Michael felt strange. A part of me missed him, but deep down, I knew I had made the right decision. I needed time to think about my life and figure out what I truly wanted. I started spending more time with my friends and focusing on my work at the hospital. Gradually, life began to feel normal again. One sunny afternoon, as I was leaving the hospital, I decided to take a walk through the park to clear my mind. The warm sun and fresh air were just what I needed. As I strolled along the path, I heard someone call my name. Anna, a familiar voice rang out. I turned and saw Daniel, an old friend from college, walking toward me. We hadn't seen each other in years. Daniel, what a surprise, I said, smiling as we hugged. He asked if I had time for coffee, and I gladly agreed. We found a cozy cafe in the park and caught up on our lives. Daniel shared that he had recently moved back to the city for work. He was now a teacher and loved his job. I told him about my work at the hospital, and we laughed, reminiscing about our college days. In the weeks that followed, Daniel and I met often for coffee. We talked about everything: our careers, our lives, and our dreams for the future. He was different from Michael, open, honest, and easy to be around. I no longer felt confused or uncertain. Slowly, I realized I didn't miss Michael anymore. Daniel and I started spending more time together. We went to the movies, took long walks in the park, and sometimes just talked for hours. He was kind, funny, and always made me feel good about myself. After almost a year together, everything seemed perfect. I trusted him completely, and we shared many wonderful moments. But one day, something happened that made me question everything. It was a Friday afternoon. I had just finished my shift at the hospital and decided to surprise Daniel at his favorite cafe, where he often went to relax after work. As I walked in, expecting to see him alone, my heart sank. Daniel was sitting with a woman. She was beautiful, tall, with long hair and a radiant smile. They were laughing and talking closely, and the sight stopped me in my tracks. My mind raced. Who is she? Is she his girlfriend? Why didn't he tell me about her? I stood frozen at the entrance, unsure of what to do. Should I walk over and say hello, or should I leave and pretend I hadn't seen them? My heart pounded, and a knot formed in my stomach. After a moment, I turned and left, unable to face him or the woman. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about what I had seen. I barely slept and woke up feeling even worse. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but the thought that Daniel might be hiding something haunted me. Later that day, Daniel called me, his voice as cheerful as ever. "Hey, Anna, want to go for a walk this evening?" he asked. I hesitated, unsure if I could act normal after what I had seen, but I agreed, determined to confront him. Daniel greeted me with his usual warm smile when we met at the park. We walked for a while, chatting about our day, but I couldn't focus. The image of him and the woman at the cafe wouldn't leave my mind. Finally, I stopped walking and turned to him. "Daniel, I need to ask you something," I said, my voice trembling slightly. He looked at me with concern. "What's wrong, Anna?" "I saw you yesterday at the cafe," I began, trying to stay calm. "You were with a woman, and you seemed close. I thought, maybe she was your girlfriend." Daniel's eyes widened in surprise. "Wait, what? You saw me at the cafe?" "Yes," and I didn't know what to think. For a moment, Daniel was silent, and my heart sank. I feared he was about to confess something I didn't want to hear. But then, he laughed softly and shook his head. "Anna," he said, reaching for my hand, "that woman isn't my girlfriend. She's my cousin." "Emma, your cousin?" I asked, feeling a bit embarrassed. "Yes," Daniel explained. Emma just moved to the city and doesn't know many people here. I was catching up with her and helping her feel more at home. I didn't mention it because it didn't seem like a big deal. I let out a sigh of relief. Oh, I'm sorry, Daniel. I just saw you two together and jumped to conclusions. Daniel smiled gently and squeezed my hand. It's okay, Anna. I understand why you were worried, but you don't have to be. There's no one else. You're the only person I care about. Hearing his words, a wave of relief washed over me. I realized how quick I had been to assume the worst. Daniel had always been honest with me, and I needed to trust him. One evening, while we were having dinner, Daniel asked me about my past relationships. I hesitated at first, unsure if I was ready to bring up Michael, but I trusted Daniel, so I decided to open up. I was seeing someone before we reconnected, I began, looking down at my plate. His name was Michael. It was complicated. He was married, and I knew it wasn't right, but I cared about him. In the end, I chose to walk away. Daniel listened quietly, never interrupting. When I finished, he reached across the table and took my hand. I'm glad you told me, Anna. I know that must have been hard, but I'm here for you now, and I want us to be honest with each other. I nodded, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. Thank you, Daniel. I want that too. From that moment, I knew Daniel was someone I could trust. Our relationship grew stronger as we supported each other through life's ups and downs. I didn't regret ending things with Michael. It had been the right decision. Now I was with someone who truly made me happy. One day, while we were walking in the park, Daniel stopped and turned to me, his expression serious. Anna, I have something to ask you, he said. I looked at him, a little nervous. What is it? I've been thinking a lot about us, he began. I know we've only been together for a year, but I can't imagine my life without you. You make me happy every day, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. My heart raced as I listened. Was he asking what I thought he was? Daniel reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. He opened it to reveal a beautiful ring. Anna, will you marry me? I was in shock, completely unprepared for this moment, but as I looked into Daniel's eyes, I knew the answer. Yes, I said, tears of happiness filling my eyes. Yes, I will. Daniel smiled as he slid the ring onto my finger. We hugged tightly, and I felt overwhelming joy. I never thought I'd find love after everything that happened with Michael. But here I was, engaged to someone who truly cared for me. Michael was a part of my past, a chapter that taught me valuable lessons and made me stronger. Now, I was beginning a new chapter with Daniel, and I couldn't wait to see what the future held. Life has a funny way of surprising us. Sometimes the challenges we don't understand lead us to the best parts of our journey. With Daniel by my side, I felt stronger. Though life wasn't always easy, we faced every challenge together and always found a way through. As time went on, I realized this was the kind of relationship I had always dreamed of, one built on trust, respect, and love. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share.